He was just this chubby dude who wanted to get home fast so he could copy his homework before anyone noticed. Out of nowhere, a go-kart came flying down the street and crashed straight into him. He was about to die when, out of nowhere, a top-tier cultivator from another world took over his body after messing up during some big challenge. Scrolled through the guy's memories, checking out everything they'd been through. Teachers never really vibed with him. He got roasted non-stop by the girl everyone called a goddess. His classmates made him get down on his knees. He even got roughed up by the school bully. Everyone just pushed past him like he wasn't even there. He didn't have it in him to push back. It was honestly sad. Yin pushed himself, burning through the last of his spiritual energy just to patch up the messed up body. He could tell right away that something was seriously off. This young aperture meridian was totally wrecked. If nothing changed, he wouldn't make it to 20. He decided he wasn't about to let things play out the way they always did. If life was going to be rough, he'd step in and switch things up for her. Anyone who messed with her was definitely going to pay for it. Sat down, legs crossed, while these glowing lights circled around him. Every now and then sparks shot out from his core, running through his whole body. After about an hour, he finished whatever he was doing and sent something away, but his injuries still weren't getting any better. Back then, Earth was kinda washed. Spiritual energy was basically non-existent. That still wasn't enough to slow down, who used to run the show back in the cultivation world. He looked around, realizing the spiritual energy was barely there. He decided he wasn't going to wait around for it to show up. He'd just make his own path, like building a river where there wasn't one. He had to find a spot to clean himself up before doing anything else. He could barely make it 200 meters before he was totally out of breath. He had no clue how the guy before him managed to get by under this law. He peeled off his dirty clothes, ready to finally get clean. He just chilled in the river, totally relaxed. Out of nowhere, a girl with blue hair sprinted straight at him. He kept thinking to himself how good she looked, almost like he couldn't ignore it even if he tried. The very next moment, he just froze. The girl opened her mouth and out came this wild burst of colors like a rainbow exploding right there. Her eyes looked completely dull now, just blank whites showing. Getting back on track, the girl lost her balance and ended up falling right into the water. She started waving her arms all over the place, trying to get someone's attention. Reached in and pulled her straight out of the river. She thought he was being weird and told him to back off. Was caught off guard, like how is he supposed to help if she won't even let him get close? He couldn't believe how she wanted help but freaked out the second he tried. Kept weaving from side to side, quick on his feet and always ready to switch things up. He kept her from slipping and let her know he was just chilling by the river, getting cleaned up. He literally saved his life, so there's no way he's the villain here. He scooped her up in his arms, holding her like a princess. He headed down to the riverbank. He slid back into the water without making a sound, trying not to draw any attention. The blue-haired girl had no clue what was going on. It's late and the only people around are this guy and a girl. The whole setup just feels kind of sketchy. He tells her to just throw on his jacket and head back. He figures he's the heavier one, so he'll be fine in the cold, but yeah, he needs his pants to stay. The girl with blue hair grabs clothes. He slides them on fast all in one go. Yin checked out how the clothes fit and was kind of surprised. They worked way better than he expected. Wasn't Yin supposed to be on the bigger side? He brushed it off, not wanting to think too much about it. He asked for the guy's name, promising to give his clothes back at some point. Gave a quick smile. He wasn't looking for any or payback, just did something good and kept it moving. The blue-haired girl started to think the chubby guy was kinda cute. She yelled her name, Ming Han, thanked him for the day, and then dipped out fast. Rested his arms on the railing, thinking about how the name stood out. Meeting someone this cool right at the start, this world was already catching his attention. He picked up a light whiff of something nasty, like someone forgot to flush. Right away, he dropped to the floor and started crawling, nose leading the way as he hunted down whatever was smelling so good. He wondered if this was the 7-luminary herb, the one that gets its power by soaking up sunlight. People call this plant the 7-luminary herb. It's wild. Supposedly, if you use it, you can actually cheat death and get 100 more years to live. Yin spotted the down by the river, and right away he could tell energy was just pouring out of it. He tapped into his own power and started pulling in spiritual energy. He pulled the energy in and let it work on him, slowly patching up his wounds. He jolted awake, eyes wide open. He turned around smooth, making it look easy. He moved quietly, hitting the ground with steady, careful steps that made almost no sound. He wasn't tired anymore. Energy surged through him as his punch blasted out with a crazy loud boom. Now this was what having a real body was supposed to be like. He started remembering faces, one after another, like they were popping up on his mental feed. Anyone who messed with it before was definitely going to get what was coming to them. He showed up at the school gate, just going off what he remembered. He gave his heel a quick tap and launched himself way up, clearing a few meters like it was nothing. He hit that flashy landing and had this wild look on his face. Yeah, his inner was back in full force. Yin got back to his dorm and realized his roommates had actually welded the door shut on him. He was already pretty irritated, so he just kicked the door open without thinking twice. He looked at the door, totally confused about how it got welded shut. He yelled out, trying to figure out who did it. The dorm boss started messing with him, basically daring him him to step up and do something about it. That was the last straw for him. His hand snapped into a claw and grabbed the guy's throat right away. He pressed the guy to the floor like it was nothing. He wanted to hear a tongue twister before letting anyone leave. He said he was all about tongue twisters and wanted it done fast. Some random guy behind him thought he could sneak up and land a hit. Bounced back so hard that the dude's bones just snapped. Definitely wasn't holding back on them, and honestly neither was the other guy. Now the challenge got flipped. If he could pull off a tongue twister, he'd get a pass. No pressure, just everyone waiting to see if he'd mess it up. He just stood there totally blank, not even able to get a word out. Landed a punch and knocked out one of his big white teeth just like that. He wasn't really taking the blame. After all, the other guy didn't even try the tongue twister. One of the guys finally couldn't hold it in anymore and just said it. He said to eat grapes with the skin, but not to eat the grapes themselves, only the skin. Couldn't hold it in and just started laughing. That tongue twister was next level. He'd never heard anything like it. He thought it was awesome, honestly. Whatever beef he had before, that was done. Today, he's running the show. Nobody even tried to mess with. The whole group backed down right away, not wanting any smoke with him. Nobody really knew why that high school girl suddenly went pale. Her brother was out on the track hauling a sandbag full of jeans, like 50 pairs across his shoulders, just doing laps. The students started laughing and making fun of what they saw. The two school belles just stared each other down, both refusing to give an inch. Some random guy at school tried to lighten the mood. That day, little gambling god started a new betting game on. Everyone was curious to see what was going down. Ningling saw people trying to talk bad about her brother and she wasn't having it. She just agreed, wanting to shut it down fast. The group headed over to Tang Ming, who was busy running his betting game. Some kid at school threw down 2,000 yuan, betting Yin wouldn't even make it past the first lap. Nobody saw it coming when the rich girl put down such a wild bet. Everyone started looking around to see if anyone else was brave enough to jump in. Right after that, 2 more bets dropped. Someone threw down $5,000 on number 4. He had to run 4 laps at first, but if he pushed it to 5 or even 10 laps, he'd hit 1,000. The lackeys couldn't believe what they were seeing. 50 Gene was massive, moving that fast just didn't make sense. They had no clue where he got all that confidence. Ningling Yu sat back and watched while everyone started clowning on her brother. She stepped up totally confident. She put down 500 yuan, backing her brother to crush it and run more than 10 laps. Saw what happened and couldn't help but grin, looking pretty pleased with herself. Ningling realized she probably wasn't going to win, but pride meant a lot to her. Even so, she kept supporting her brother because that's just what you do. Back at the track, little gambling god kept his eyes on the race, counting every lap himself. He noticed looking totally wiped out and just figured things were done. Didn't tap the brakes, instead he just hit the gas and went even faster. There's no chance this kid was going easy before. The sports class rep could tell he was totally spent. If he kept pushing himself like this, he'd probably land in the hospital. Was sweating like crazy, pretty much proving what he just said. His throat clenched up out of nowhere. Next thing he coughed up blood and it just spilled out. He saw the rep move fast, trying to block him before he could do anything else. Tang Ming stopped him for a second. Something about this kid looked off. He didn't seem like he was about to pass out or anything. If anything, it was like he was gearing up to take off, like a dude about to run a full-out sprint. Tang Ming figured they should just watch and see what happened next. Coughed up blood, and suddenly the energy from that spirit herb he took yesterday just exploded inside him. Now he was moving fast, taking the stairs like it was nothing. He could hit 10 floors without even getting out of breath. It's straight out of a manga. Just as everyone's getting tense, some dude who loves causing drama shows up. He stood up on the roof of the school, checking out everything going on below. He started tapping out stuff on his phone like he was sending secret codes, just acting all mysterious. Half his face was hidden in the dark and a sly grin crept in. He looked ready to mess around, tossing out a challenge about running 5 laps, like it really just came down to how many legs you brought to the game. Wanted to lose some belly fat, so he strapped on a sandbag that weighed as much as 50 pairs of jeans and started running. The troublemaker was definitely not down to let him keep going, so he got one of his guys to shove Yin over. The lackey tripped over his own feet. He just went straight down and slammed his face into the dirt. Tang Ming caught the whole thing without missing a beat. Didn't waste a second, he paused, dodged quick, then took off even faster. There was just something weird about this kid. The lackey, totally embarrassed, took off running after, not caring about anyone watching. Tang Ming was fired up, about to rush in, but the rep grabbed him before he could move. It was pretty obvious why. The dude's dad was the deputy mayor, so nobody wanted to mess with him. As they split up, the lackey rushed over and tried grabbing around the waist. Right as he was closing in, Yin suddenly leveled up, ready to go. He came in fast, throwing a bunch of punches back to back. When he finally let loose, nobody could hold him back. The sandbag whipped around almost 4 full spins. He tossed it in the air, then caught it right on his shoulders like he'd done it 1,000,000 times. Just dropped a curse under his breath and kept it moving. Whoever that guy was, he honestly didn't matter to him, so just focused on running, not even wasting another second. The students were hyped up. Everyone wondered if their teacher was actually onto something with that sneaky dude. The sports rep couldn't believe what he was seeing. After running 11 laps, no one should still have that much energy left in the tank. Right when the bell went off for class, Ningling Yu bolted down the stairs. Yin had just wrapped up his run, but there was no break coming. He had to keep moving, so he started walking 2 more laps, barely catching his breath. Just stood there, eyes wide, staring at Ning. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Was this really one of those legendary spirit bodies people talked about? In the world of cultivation, having a body like that was insanely rare, like 1 in a billion rare. Anyone with it could level up way faster than everyone else, basically leaving others in the dust. He honestly never thought Ningling Yu would be the one to have it. Back in class, flipped open his history book and spotted all the old school stuff those ancient scholars used to talk about. Jing stared at the textbook and the answer just didn't add up. Something about it seemed off, like he was missing a detail everyone else got. He kept flipping the page, trying to figure out if he was overthinking or if the book was actually wrong. The Supreme Cultivation Manual. Yin couldn't help but remember those old legends, like patching up the sky or that wild monkey who was always showing off. Stuff like that had to be real, right? Back on this world where all the Kai was pretty much gone, those old legends just slowly disappeared. Just because he hadn't run into any cultivators yet didn't mean Earth was completely without them. Turns out the person who messed up Xiang Aperture Meridian wasn't just some random nobody. Zoned out hard until the history teacher yelled and pulled him right back to reality. The teacher basically told him if he wanted to stand so bad, he could take his book and stand next to the trash can. Got so locked in while reciting that he totally spaced out on sitting down. The teacher, always plotting something, got curious. He wanted to know what book the student had been reading. Paused for a second, his mind running through every lesson he'd ever picked up. It was like he had all those old preaching classics stuck in his head. Everyone at school knew her. She always caught attention with just a glance. The way she acted, it was like she wanted everyone to see her. The teacher couldn't stand it when someone tried to flex, so he picked Yin and told him to recite the whole thing from start to finish. Paused for a second. He knew if he wanted to get through this perfectly, he'd be stuck reciting for at least 2 hours. The teacher almost coughed up a lung right there. Just straight up said something wild, and the teacher wasn't about to let that slide. Not every day someone acts that confident, so the teacher decided to put him to the test. He just smiled, totally chill, and pointed at the podium. He wanted everyone to see what he could do. She didn't think Yin could pull it off, so she stepped in to give him a hand. Her best friend grabbed her arm and yanked her back. His gut told him was already plotting something. He decided to just chill and see what would happen next. Stayed chill, he picked up the teacher's teacup and casually took a sip to clear his throat. 2 hours slipped by, kept going, reciting everything perfectly, calm and confident the whole time. Everyone in the class just sat there, barely making a sound, flipping through their books to keep up. The teacher took off his glasses, acting like he was ready to let the guy do his thing. Benny reached for the mic, his eyes lighting up. Everyone could tell the student had some real talent that just showed up out of nowhere. Out of everyone, only who sat next to him was in on it. Just took a quick look at the notes, barely 10 minutes, and had the whole thing down cold. The teacher took back to his office and dropped a huge pile of review papers on the desk. Seriously, it looked like a mountain. He grabbed by the neck and told him to remember everything. He wanted to get into a solid university and not throw away all the work he'd put in. Tilted his head up, looking unfazed. Stuff like this was nothing to him. He'd already made it through way worse. Up next was geography, all about how China's laid out. Just opened the book like it was no big deal. Right away, he realized the Great Wall wasn't just some old landmark. It was actually a top-tier dragon vein. The army, it's a setup where they use soldiers to try and live longer. He spotted 5 important spots and made a mental note. He planned to check them out later when he was stronger. Out of nowhere, a big hand smacked down hard on his desk. He'd heard the kid was trying to find him. He wondered if the kid was just hyped up and ready to cause some trouble. Cracked his eye open for a second, counting down in his head. He wanted that annoying hand off him fast. His classmates froze, not sure what to do next. This dude's dad ran the show everywhere, whether it was by the rules or not. On campus, he moved like nobody could touch him. He saw trouble coming his way, but he still kept his cool like nothing could touch him. He took a hit straight to the chest, but all he could think about was how much it meant. He threw hands right after. He finally understood that messing with was way out of his league. His lackey saw what happened and instantly started yelling, acting like nobody could touch his boss. He made it clear that going against them was a big mistake. Inside his head, the boss just called him an idiot. He wondered if they actually wanted him gone, because honestly, if they didn't, they should probably get over here and give him a hand. Just laughed to himself. This guy really thought he could mess with him and then just leave. Not happening. Wasn't even gonna let him get near the window, let alone the door. He watched as the guy tried to get away, totally embarrassed. Was buzzing with energy. It had been ages since he felt this awake. Beating up that spoiled brat Ali Bai honestly just felt good. Inside the restaurant, a bunch of students were chilling around the table, grabbing food off their plates. Tang Ming figured that after took down that guy, there was no way he wouldn't have people coming after him for payback. Had already thought about it, so he went ahead and started his own crew. Tang Ming stood right there looking like an easy choice. Dude was clueless, easy to boss around, and the best part, he didn't even need to get paid. Tang Ming had no clue that Smooth today would end up making him one of the top guys among the city's richest. Right then, his friend mentioned she'd crushed way too many plates and had to dip to the restroom. Ningling trailed after, saying she'd stacked up way too many plates and had to walk it off. Saw an opportunity and decided to see what Shan Shan was really about. Out of nowhere, someone started screaming. Both of them moved right away. Chow turned around quick and took off, moving so smooth that just stood there watching her go, kind of stunned by how fast she was. Showed up just as things were already popping off. Tang's expression turned serious. He dropped all the respect and just went for a wild leg sweep. The other two guys get ready to dive in next. The next moment he realized his eyes were wandering and his forehead started to sweat. Just walked up and knocked that dude over like it was nothing. The kids might look like they're struggling, but that's not really the whole story. Was so weak that even the smallest kid could just spin him around and drop him to the ground without breaking a sweat. Tang was fired up and couldn't believe what he was seeing. He wondered if University of Technology seriously had nobody else left to send in. Nobody else was around. The school beauty told them straight up they should bounce first if things go down. Could tell just by the way they carried themselves. These guys knew how to throw hands. He told Tang Ming and the rest to chill and stay out of it. He was ready to handle the whole group by himself. When they heard what he said, the guys instantly lost it and one of them grabbed a glass bottle, aiming it straight at his head. Next, he unleashed a classic 4-hit combo. Ningling totally freaked out and yelled for him to get out of the way. Wasn't clueless, even if she didn't yell, he'd still move out of the way. Yellow Hair watched the chubby kid move way faster than he thought possible and just clicked his tongue, clearly caught off guard. His arm whipped around fast, sending sweat flying as the bottle shot forward. Already saw his move coming and dodged clean, not even close to getting hit. He pulled off that move so smooth, the guy just blurted out a swear without even thinking. The underlings just froze, totally caught off guard. No matter what moves they tried, nobody could even get close to. Watching them miss over and over was kind of hilarious. After messing around for a bit, used blue butterfly cloud slide step to move fast and got right behind him. The guy kept holding onto the glass bottle, the sound of it hitting the table barely making a noise. Decided it was over. He grabbed the guy's neck with his twin Mandarin Heaven Twist lock and the bottle slipped out of his hand, smashing on the floor. Next up, 1000 Top Fatal Press dropped on him and smashed him straight into the ground. The bottle came way too close to his eye, and that's when real fear finally kicked in for him. Nobody could deny it, that tiny bottle was seriously risky, even for the toughest dude around. Raised his hand, signaling if anyone else wanted to step up, they should just come over now. The punks saw how he stood and totally freaked out, dropping to their knees and begging him not to mess them up. A guy in red clothes rushed over, trying to calm things down. He looked ready to say sorry for what happened before and just wanted the others to go easy on his friends. Kicked things off by throwing out a classic insult at the whole country. He wondered why anyone should care about what this random guy had to say. Sweat started running down the red clothes guy's face. In the end, didn't just win, he made them cough up 30,000 before they could leave. The guys behind him suddenly started acting like his biggest fans. Guys in the comments even started saying they wish they could date Lin. Shan Shan just froze, not sure how to react. She had a thing for two. She clenched her jaw and just pulled her friend out of there. He wondered if he'd actually just let the person he liked walk out of his life. Having an older brother who always looks out for you is its own thing. It's like having someone in your corner, watching your back, sometimes annoying but always there when it matters. When a new gadget dropped, he'd just buy it. Ningling sat there bored out of his mind and his thoughts drifted to. A second later, Tang showed up right in front of her. He was still stuck in the classroom, just looking around and realizing the situation. Ning spotted the linen bag was holding. He couldn't help but wonder what was inside. She popped it open and saw all the newest gadgets, but since none of them came with boxes, they honestly looked kind of cheap. Everyone in class got confused, wondering how managed to afford all that stuff. They always just went with whatever was cheapest. Right when he started to feel good again, something just bugged him. Someone nearby started talking, surprised that a kid like him had a phone that nice. They even threw out the idea that maybe he stole it. Tang Ming snapped, not holding back. He let Nun know real quick she needed to chill with the trash talk. He made it clear if she messed with Ning Ling again, he wasn't just going to stand by. Just kept going with her sarcastic comments, not even bothering to pay attention to what anyone else thought. Tang clenched his fists, his anger showing as he popped his knuckles. Clamped a hand down on him, holding back how mad he was. Tang took a step back, ready to let him take charge. Yin just stood his ground, not moving an inch. The way he looked at and had them instantly uneasy like they couldn't handle his stare. Her simp wasn't having it. He stepped up ready to defend her and tried to figure out what was up to. Looked over, eyes sharp, and just dropped a savage insult right away. He really wasn't holding back, basically demanding to know who this guy even was. Was definitely ready to put him in his place and show him how to act normal. Before things could kick off, Ning reached out and held back, making it clear it wasn't worth getting worked up over some guy who was just simping. Let out a quiet sigh, thinking his sister was just way too nice for her own good. He figured he'd have to step in and set her straight one day. Let everyone know straight up, if anyone messed with Ning Ling, they'd seriously have to answer to him. The whole class went quiet like someone hit mute. Everyone just sat there not saying a single thing. Later that night, inside the school building, Tang Ming caught up to and wanted to know why held him back from going after that guy. Tang Ming was still hyped, clearly ready to throw hands, but had his reasons. Didn't hold back at all, he just said it straight. Even Tin Tang couldn't outdo that simp. Right when was ready to make his move, the other guy didn't back off. Instead, he stepped up and got set, looking like he was actually about to fight back. Had never run into anyone that strong before. That guy definitely wasn't some random pushover. Yin didn't stick around. He told Tang Ming to chill for a bit and then bounced off campus. He planned to use the 7 glow grass fields to level up on the down low. Tonight, was ready to level up to body tempering level 2. At that point, he could handle 200 simps coming at him, no problem. He realized Earth was way more interesting than he thought. From now on, things definitely weren't going to be boring. This guy really believed he'd gotten rid of his little brother for good, but then he spotted him alive and well, just chilling at school like nothing ever happened. He grabbed his phone right away and told the hitman he wanted his money back. The hitman started freaking out, letting him know there was no way he was getting that cash back. It was already gone. He tried to say something, but honestly, I watched him get sent flying right in front of me. He zoned out, not noticing anything around him. All he could think about was that the cash was already gone. $2,000 just disappeared in an instant, and he was so mad he couldn't help but clench his jaw. He took a second to think about it. No way the hitman would mess with him like that. Everyone started wondering if that tiny sparrow, the healer called K, might actually be the one to save. He shut down that thought right away. The timing just wasn't lining up. Right then, the hitman froze up, totally freaked out. Was he dealing with someone who had those wild cultivator powers? Not many folks realized it, but immortals actually existed out there. While this was going on, Yin was sitting there, totally focused, pushing his energy so he could level up his body tempering to stage 2. He didn't realize his yang meridian was still messed up, so his spiritual energy was dragging. Even with all that, he wasn't about to slow down. He knew that as soon as he hit body tempering level 2, he'd have more than enough time to get back to full strength. Once the spiritual energy maxed out, finally leveled up, he remembered the driver who crashed into him. That guy was definitely not just some random dude. When he got stronger, he knew he'd handle things and make sure the driver paid for what happened. He just picked up his backpack and tossed it straight up, not even stopping to think. He watched it drop and quickly got into place. He booted the soccer ball like he was launching it into orbit. That kick was wild, honestly. Even the national team would look weak next to that. Right now, he was strong enough that nobody could mess with him. Time to make a real weapon. Family drama can get seriously rough sometimes. Out of nowhere, the older brother found out he had a younger half-brother just out there doing his own thing. He couldn't sit still anymore. He really wanted to storm over and just smack the guy like someone had to set him straight. He had to stay on the sidelines because if he did anything himself, his family would just take him out too. He played it smart and went straight for an assassin. He sent the guy to Qing City with one job: take out and bring proof back. Had no clue anyone was after him. He was just in his own world, grinding away to master this flying needle move. If something was within 10 meters, it always nailed the target. It was the strongest weapon he had right now. He searched everywhere, but none of the silver needles he found were good enough for what he needed. The next day, he showed up at the track, ready to put in some work and push himself harder. The lackey got his confidence back, itching to get even after getting embarrassed before. He rushed straight at him without thinking, was never the type to let him get away with whatever he wanted. He took a quick slap to the face, nothing harsh, just enough to let him know someone cared. Stood over him, making him feel tiny, like he didn't even matter. The pressure from was unreal, almost like he was getting crushed just by being there. The lackey totally lost it and started yelling for his mom. Out on the field, the students just caught a bunch of noises back to back. He started throwing punches and kicking nonstop. After getting hit a few times, the lackey stopped holding back and just went full force. He jumped again, kind of like how a kitten suddenly springs forward. This guy just wouldn't quit. He kept messing around and ended up getting slammed with another brutal Ling Kai shoulder throw. He's the type of guy who just keeps going full speed until something actually stops him. Didn't waste any time and let his words hit hard. He wasn't the type to just let stuff slide. If someone messed with him, he'd make sure they paid for it big time. Up above, Ling was watching it all go down. she started getting really curious about. Later that night, she reached out to Yin. Couldn't take his eyes off her. Her looks had him totally locked in. Definitely wasn't done checking things out, even if everyone else had already stared for a while. Getting stared down by a little enchantress is wild enough, but she wasn't stopping there. She straight up pulled him along to meet her parents too. Started to feel a bit stressed out. He knew he still had to pick up some silver needles later, so he really couldn't stick around with her right now. Mining couldn't help but laugh, thinking about how her family was basically stacked with silver needles, right after cash. There were all kinds of needles at her place. If he was after them, all he had to do was trail her back to her house. Instantly picked up on something sketchy. It just didn't make sense for luck this good to drop out of nowhere. His face tightened up as he started to wonder what Mining was really after by hitting him up. Mining realized she couldn't keep it a secret any longer, so she let out a quiet sigh. She let him know her grandpa was the real one who wanted this meetup. It was pretty clear why the old man was interested, because had done something no regular person could pull off. If wanted those silver needles, he'd have to head back to her place. A car pulled up fast and slammed the brakes right outside the villa district. Right as Mining was about to leave, Yin stepped in and blocked her. He told her she needed to pay the 40 yuan up front. Everything just went quiet in the car, like someone hit mute. Really just wants cash. If you want answers, you're on your own. She totally lost her cool. Even the driver started to get nervous, thinking might not have enough cash. In the end, Yin managed to talk the driver into cutting the fare by half. Then the driver, still mad, just took off fast. Time to get serious. When showed up at Doctor's place, he could tell right away that this spot was on a whole different level. The air was packed with spiritual vibes, and you could really catch that strong medicine smell everywhere. When he stepped into the courtyard, the first thing he noticed was this old guy right away. The old man spotted her and gave a big, welcoming smile. He could tell she'd been gone for a while, and now that she was back, he was curious about the guy with her. He definitely wanted to know who this dude was. Moved up, keeping it chill and respectful. The old man gave a quick intro, then just started laughing hard, totally not holding back. He pointed at a seat, letting know he should sit down and hang out for a bit. Yin picked up on something off about him right away, even though the guy looked tough on the outside. Deep inside his lungs, black mist just hung around, not moving. Picked up on it right away, the old guy had to be poisoned. He got up and went straight to the point, letting the guy know that Mining mentioned his health wasn't great. He wanted to check if anything was up with him. The old man just brushed it off with a wave, acting like it was no big deal. He pretty much said he called over just to see him. Word got around that he hauled a massive 50-gene sandbag and still managed to run 11 laps. That kind of stamina isn't normal. Dude basically broke what most people think is possible. Now even the older guys wanted to check him out, trying to see what made him different. Reached out his hand, smooth and confident. The old man's face switched up right away. He took his time before saying anything, almost like he was trying to figure out if this kid had some rough stuff happen when he was younger. Yin just froze. He honestly didn't think a regular doctor would spot what was off with him that quick. Anyone at the top in this world would probably size him up, just to see if they could actually stack up against him. He used to be the top divine doctor in all of, nobody could touch his level. He set out to master the highest level of medical skills. His path took him way out into where he randomly crossed paths with the top saints, two legends in their own time. The saint was just on another level when it came to healing, way better than him. The guy decided to stick around and learn medicine from her, but honestly, it felt way more like he was crushing than actually studying. Back on topic, once he stopped getting better, he just wanted out from the saintess. They were already locked in on him, they just couldn't let him slip away. The guy had been married for 7 years and even had a kid, so there was no way he was messing around. The saintess just ignored everything and did her own thing. She wanted to keep him around so bad that she went ahead and slipped some love potion into his food. After those two got together and did stuff they couldn't really talk about, this weird goo bug would slide into their bodies. From then on, they were basically locked in for life, stuck with that emotional connection forever. Even after everything, the guy still turned his back on the saintess. Late at night, he just grabbed a train ticket and dipped. Pretty sure he didn't even get a seat, dude was just standing the whole ride. He got so impatient with how slow the train was moving that he just picked it up and started running faster than it. He wasn't ready to just let it go, so he pulled up to the guy's place and even ended up meeting his wife. After a while, the two women finally figured things out, and just like that, the dip. His wife stood her ground, totally unbothered, like she owned the place. She totally owned this fight, and no one even had to throw a punch or set anything on fire. Turns out the cold guy standing there is actually Old Master. Once he learned what happened, Mining honestly started to feel bad for the saintess. She just threw out a question that caught everyone off guard. She wanted to know why Grandpa never came back for her so they could all just chill and be a real family. Both of them turned red right away, clearly embarrassed by what just got said. Old Master just brushed it off with a quick hand wave, basically telling everyone to chill and stop talking like that. And that's pretty much how his whole mess with the love goo wrapped up. Once he knew how to handle the Ling 9 needles, he figured might be able to fix whatever the goo did to him. He grabbed the ancestral gold needles from the Spirit Link Jade box, ready to get some help. His eyes went wide for a second. He could tell right away these needles were seriously high-end. Today was ready to use his needle skills to keep the leftover poison in Old Master under control. Took a deep breath and tried to chill out, running the formula through his head. He focused, channeling his energy straight into the golden needle in his hand. He just didn't have the spiritual power he needed. Things got awkward real fast. Right then the Spirit Link Jade box lit up with this bright blue glow, making a loud noise like it was saying it had nothing but pure spiritual power to give. It was like the box was flexing, just waiting for someone to tap into all that energy. Yin just reached out and took it in, not really caring about anything else. He focused and sent his energy straight into the needle. Everything was set up, now it was just a matter of seeing where the needle would drop. Started sweating bullets the second the Old Master showed up. He wondered if this kid was actually about to take out the old guy. Before he even had time to react, a gold needle flew right into his back. His bones started lighting up with pain, like they were about to blow apart from the inside. He pulled himself together, took 8 needles like a champ, and now there was just one left. This last one needed serious focus. If he messed up even a little, it could be game over right there. When the needle hit, Old Master Schwag totally lost it. This guy, known for being tough as nails, just couldn't hold back. He screamed out like 300 times, no joke. He started coughing hard and blood just came out everywhere. He was completely stunned. He never thought the Ling 9 needles would be this deep. Those needles could actually bring dead stuff back to life, almost like hitting a reset button on the body. Old Master's whole vibe got serious. He was about to hand over all 9 golden needles to Yin. Didn't see it coming. Making those 9 golden needles cost way too much, and even with all his skills, he couldn't pull it off right now. Old Master always meant what he said and never broke a promise. Took the ancestral needles, a sneaky smile creeping across his face. Going through all of this just made Mining respect him even more. Asked if he could get a couple more sets of silver needles. Old Master just started laughing. Hundreds of sets, that was nothing for him, he could hand those out all day. He handed them over right away so could check if they were any good. The old man let out a deep sigh, hoping Yin would use the needles to actually help people. He had no clue that Yin was actually planning to go after the bad guys, not hurt any patients. The heiress girlfriend was getting ready to take the boy out for a shopping spree. Out of nowhere, cars packed in all around them, stretching as far as they could see. As soon as stepped outside, he fired off a message. Up ahead, there was a car crash. As soon as Mining heard that, he wasted no time and grabbed, moving fast to jump in and help out. 2 girls were just lying on the street, barely moving, looking pretty beat up but nothing too serious. The old guy next to them looked like he'd totally blacked out. He wasn't moving at all. Dragged his feet as he walked behind, not really wanting to help with the mining. Out of nowhere, he snapped his head back. Something intense was in the air, like there was a threat he'd never felt before. There was a person hiding out of sight, plotting to take him out. 1 second the danger was right there, but then it disappeared like nothing even happened. Kept his eyes on the crash site, blocking everything else out. Before he started mining, the old guy looked like he was barely hanging on, and she just stood there, not knowing what to do. A guy who said he was a surgeon got down low. He glanced for a second. He explained to the traffic cops that the old guy's heartbeat was all over the place. If they didn't get him into surgery fast, he probably wouldn't make it another couple of hours. Mining totally freaked out right away. Someone reached out and rested their hands softly on her head, letting her know she wasn't alone. Yin stayed by her side, making sure she knew he had things under control. With him around, there was no way the old man was going anywhere. Mining couldn't hold it in anymore. Tears started streaming down his face. Right when was about to pull out the Ling 9 needles, ready to get started. Something with a dog's paw shot out and stopped him cold. Nobody knew who this kid was or where he popped up from. He definitely looked way too young to be here, like someone should probably send him back to his mom. Mining knew how it was. If someone tried to give him attitude, would just fire it right back, but even harder. Just like everyone figured, Yin got up on his own. No surprise there, he always finds a way to handle things himself. Mining held onto his hand, tears streaming down his face, desperately asking him to help the old man. Flashed a quick grin. With him around, things were chill, no one had to stress. He figured it was time to see how everyone else was doing. Mining started to like him even more. He used to be a total powerhouse, running things in another world like it was nothing. He was out by the side of the road, fixing broken bones right there. She barely touched and twisted it, and just like that it cracked. The girl didn't feel a thing. There was still a woman passed out inside the car, grabbed a golden needle and pressed it right on her kai-ho. Her breath slowed down, looking way more relaxed. He let Mining know she'd be up soon. The old man was the only one left without any help. The surgeon just stood there, kind of frozen, watching. He could tell right away that wasn't just some regular kid. Moved up, wondering if he was even allowed to step in and help the guy. The doctor moved out of the way fast, threw up his hands and locked in a quick gesture. Right then, a flash of spiritual light lit up around him. He used the Ling 9 needles to shut down the guy's meridians, making sure he couldn't move at all. He moved with insane confidence, making it look easy while the surgeon just watched and learned. The worst part was what happened to his brain. If he didn't get that last shot, he was definitely gonna end up paralyzed. Yin was sure this final needle would bring him back, no doubt in his mind. Not even the best doctors in China would mess with a needle like that. Out of nowhere, the old man's fingers started to move. Everyone in the crowd just lost it. Finally relaxed a bit. Hitting the Ling 9 needles 4 times in a single day had him completely wiped out. The energy in this world just wasn't cutting it. Right then, some guy stormed into the room. He lost it and kicked the girl's car, then started banging on her window like he was losing his mind. Turns out, he was the reason the whole accident happened. The policewoman straight up stood up for that young master, not backing down at all. Just looked at him and instantly had him stuck. Dude couldn't even take a single step. The woman sitting in the car caught the whole thing. He really just ran into someone from his own kid's family. Now she couldn't help but wonder who this guy even was. Was straight up mad at this point. He started building up his energy, getting set to throw a serious punch. Mining suddenly yelled out, cutting through the moment and making him freeze right where he was. He figured she was chill now, but then her fingers snapped loud, and it was kinda intense for someone who looked so harmless. Little got that nickname for a reason. All anyone could do now was hope this dude made it through the night. He barely woke up before a fist came flying at him out of nowhere. Case closed. Just like he thought, the better she looked, the tougher her punches landed. Heard this super clear voice ring out, and it made him look over without thinking. Nobody noticed when the driver woke up. Leaned closer to see how she was doing. She turned bright red and kept thanking him over and over. Once he made sure she was okay, he got ready to take out the golden needle. No one could tell if he meant to pose like that or if it just happened. At this point, his face went bright red. The way he looked at her just hit different from how other guys usually stared. Guys always checked her out whenever she walked by, but this dude, his stare wasn't like that at all. Told her to get some rest and then walked off. He looked chill on the surface, but inside his mind was going wild. Still, he somehow managed to keep it together. Out of nowhere, someone reached out and grabbed him. Started wondering if he really had her that interested. He spun around like it was nothing, just waiting to see if there was more. Yeah, she was definitely into him. May even pulled out her phone and hurried after him, just trying to get his number. Just said no. Honestly, dude didn't even know what a SIM card was. Took the rejection hard, holding it in but clearly thrown off inside. She'd never actually gone after a guy herself before, so getting turned down right out of the gate hit different. Instead of backing off, she found herself liking him even more. But yeah, she couldn't help feeling kind of annoyed about it too. When she found out he went to the top high school, her mood went up fast. Her little sister, the one who's always sipping green tea, went to that school too. Once she made sure his address was right, she felt at ease and dropped her number for him. Just as they were about to go their separate ways, couldn't hold it in anymore and rushed over, wrapping him up in a quick tight hug. Yin didn't waste a second, he shoved her off right away. Right then, Mining caught the whole thing. She just groaned in her head. This girl was honestly way too much. She hurried over and grabbed the spot right next to, locking it down before anyone else could even think about it. Just froze when he saw how cute she was acting. Suddenly, someone stepped right in front of them and said they were getting held for 2 days because of fighting in the street. Mining pushed back right away and the people around backed up, saying he stopped something bad from going down. The officer started to lose his nerve when he sensed how intense their presence was. Her coworkers honestly couldn't believe how she was acting. It just didn't make sense to them. She still wouldn't let it go and was dead set on taking them in. Mining was on the edge, barely holding it together. She spotted heading over to the old guy standing close by. The old man blinked awake, his eyes opening real slow. He nodded at the guy, looking genuinely thankful. Everyone in the crowd just froze. Nobody expected him to wake up that fast. Right away, everyone started hyping up for his insane skills. The 2 officers couldn't handle everyone watching, so they just let it go. Yin grabbed Mining's hand, not even stressing about the others around. He was totally locked in, ready to handle anyone who tried to mess with them. If someone actually stepped up, he'd make sure they wished they hadn't. They just turned and left together, not looking back. Min wouldn't back down and kept standing in their way. Was really mad this time. He tapped his finger gently, sending a bit of his own energy through it. Min almost lost her footing. She was about to go down. She barely had time to catch her breath when Mining started talking again. Mining kept pushing to move faster. 8 was just sitting on the side of the road, and if anyone messed it up, he'd be stuck buying a new one. Min hit the ground hard, totally wiped out, annoyed at herself for messing with people she really shouldn't have. Going shopping with her had him wiped out. Carrying all those bags felt like a test no guy could really pass. Slumped back into the car, totally wiped out and thinking he was done with shopping for good. Mining looked at everything going on and just wasn't impressed. For them, this barely scratched the surface. She started thinking that if she didn't chill out, she could end up leaving with half the mall in her bags. She poked fun at Yin for being on the heavier side, saying he probably couldn't pull off most of the fancier clothes. She had no idea, but Yin was already grinding at the body training stage. In a couple months, he was on track to look like one of those fitness models. Mining listened to Jean Yin hyping himself up, but honestly he wasn't buying any of it. She was actually cool with how he looked, since she was into him anyway. In his head, promised himself that after he lost the extra weight, he'd totally catch this little enchantress off guard with something big. Out of nowhere, her phone went off with that familiar ringtone. Mining glanced at her phone, saw who was calling, and her whole vibe switched. She looked straight up cold. She answered the call and started talking in that soft voice, calling him cute. Lee's voice came through from overseas, calm and easy. She brought up Mining's birthday and said she was thinking about what to get him. She wanted to know what he was into these days so she could pick out the right gift. Mining took him out right away. They weren't having anything from him. Lee just laughed like he was totally confident. He was ready to buy out the entire mall, no hesitation. Mining almost blew up. Seriously, why not crush on someone different? Couldn't hold it back anymore and just straight up burst out laughing. Lee just stopped dead, wanting answers right away. He needed to know who that guy was standing next to her. Mining was straight up trying to get under his skin. They were hoping he'd just quit. Lee Chin totally lost his cool. He needed to figure out who the guy was, no questions asked. Mining gave a smug look like he knew everyone was curious. He was cool with it. He just dropped the news that the guy next to him was his new boyfriend. Lee Chin just froze right there, not moving an inch. He just sat there on the bench, staring off into space like he'd totally powered down. He'd been grinding at Mining for 7 years straight. No way he was just gonna let someone else swoop in and take his spot. He grabbed his phone and called right away. As soon as she ended the call, Mining and started trying to figure out what spot to grab food at. Somewhere off in city, Tang's phone started buzzing and he picked up. As soon as Lee's voice came through, he shot up, caught off guard. He couldn't figure out why someone from would be reaching out to him. The moment Tang Ming found out someone was trying to swoop in on brother's girl, he just snapped. He promised he'd handle it and take that dude down, no hesitation. Right then, let out a sneeze while he was sitting in the car. If Tang Ming found out it was taking Lee's heart, he'd probably just pass out right then and there. Dark clouds covered up the sun. That tall building just stood there, giving off bad vibes like something wasn't right. The bell went off for class. Chao Shan Shan, the class rep, glanced over its seat and noticed he wasn't there. She couldn't help but think about him. Out of nowhere, her friend rushed in. Yin just showed up, coming straight down from 28, arms loaded with luxury shopping bags. Shan Shan felt his chest tense up. He started wondering if was talking to someone new. She couldn't deal with it, so she just headed straight to where Ning Ling was hanging out, knowing would be there too. Showed up with a sneaky grin on his face, looking like he was about to pull something. Chao couldn't believe it. He just straight up acted like she wasn't even there. She watched him and her emotions just exploded inside, like she couldn't hold it back anymore. She couldn't hold it back anymore, her anger just snapped. She suddenly reached out and grabbed his hand, tugging him along like she had something important to get off her chest. Figured she was probably just trying to mess with him again. While they kept dancing and started moving in sync, leaned in close to her and quietly let her know he thought Shan Shan looked really good that day. Shan Shan's face turned bright red right away. As more people started showing up, she just got even quieter. Tang managed to push his way through the crowd, yelling about someone actually dating out in the open, right on the track. Everyone could tell their boss really owned the moment. Dude was just built different. Her friend kept messing with her, people around were watching, and Ning Ling was just waiting to see what would happen. Things got even more intense between them, like the vibe was seriously dialed up. Shan Shan motioned for to come closer, like she had something private to share. Pushed her hair out of the way and leaned in closer. Just like that, the school beauty chomped down on his hand. Just stopped in his tracks. He honestly never thought she'd actually go for the bite. He figured if you really cared about someone, leaving a bite mark was the move. That way the dude would always remember you no matter what. Shan Shan walked away with his head held high, looking like he owned the place. Her friend leaned in close, unsure if everything was cool with what just happened. Had no idea what was going on in Shan Shan's head. Right then Ning came over, clearly concerned about him. Spiritual energy just kind of moved around Ning Ling on its own. Had this small, proud grin he just couldn't hide. He didn't even pause, he just took in her spiritual energy and got back about a third of his strength. Tang, not really getting what was going on, wandered over and tried to get on everyone's good side. Lost his cool and basically told everyone to back off. He was in the zone, soaking up energy, and couldn't stand anyone messing with his flow. Tang Ming caught that glare and it nearly made his heart stop. He slammed on the brakes right there. Vacation was starting tonight, so he showed up, ready to drive them home. Just froze when he remembered how far his place was. It actually checked out. Spun around and shot Tang Ming this huge, friendly smile. He called Little over, making it clear they were basically like brothers, and told him to be the one to drive them home that night. Right then, picked up on this intense vibe coming from somewhere close. No question, someone seriously strong was hanging around near his place. He quickly told Tang Ming to keep watch at the front door of his house. Dropped his sister off at their place before heading out again. The second Ningling opened the door, she spotted a fat pig chilling inside. She barely noticed it, though. She just missed her mom so much that she ran straight over and hugged her tight. Stepped into the room and made his way over to his mom. When her kid walked back in, his mom instantly started thinking about how to get rid of the fat pig. Yin glanced over his shoulder and spotted the fat pig. That explained where that weird energy he picked up earlier was coming from. Turns out it was this dude all along. The 1.98-meter giant posted up right in front of the fat pig, making it clear he wasn't messing around. He made sure the pig knew he wasn't wanted here and needed to bounce ASAP. The fat pig just stood there totally unfazed. He saw the kid was only at the body refining stage and couldn't believe someone that weak would even step up to him. But since the kid was just a rookie, he didn't bother causing any drama. After that, he dipped. Right then, Tang Ming stepped inside. As soon as he walked in, he spotted Mom, and she had this unreal, almost angelic smile. It was like his whole world just lit up, no doubt about it. He was 100% down bad for her. Snapped him out of it fast, cutting off whatever crazy daydream he was having. Ningling couldn't help but laugh to herself. She'd never actually met any of the four troublemakers before, and honestly, Tang Ming just looked kind of clueless. Had seen Tang Ming pull this kind of stuff before, so he wasn't surprised at all. He casually threw an arm over Tang Ming's shoulders and leaned in, letting him know that if Tang Ming wanted any shot at winning over his mom, he'd have to seriously step up his game when it came to reading the room. Once the jokes were out of the way, he got serious, threw on his training gear and dashed outside, ready to get to work. He was moving so fast, like 300 yards every second. He just zoomed past a truck on the road like it was nothing. He made it to the spot where the 7-ray spirit grass grew, got ready to start training, stripped down and jumped straight into the river. He pushed himself until he had nothing left in the tank. Sat down with his legs crossed, thinking about what to do about the fat pig. Even his kinda there abs looked out of place as he tried to figure things out. If he managed to level up today, even a bunch of massive pigs wouldn't faze him. She used to be from the 9th heaven, never getting old or hurt, but after she caught feelings, she got kicked down to earth. Now her husband was barely hanging on, and she was left with a baby only a year and a half old. She was grinding at the market every day, even though she was super pregnant, and dudes kept messing with her nonstop. A guy came at her trying to mess with her, started shaking, totally scared. The dude just got even cockier seeing her like that. Right when he was about to go in for a kiss he shouldn't, thinking he had it all figured out. Hit his limit, he was done. The man lost it, he was about to go in for the hit. Showed up for sure, just like everyone guessed he would. He jumped in and saved right on time. After that, he let everyone know who he really was. Turns out he's the fat pig's nephew. Suddenly got this cold, nervous feeling deep inside. Just yesterday, Yin wouldn't have stood a chance against the fat pig. Back then, picking a fight like that was basically asking for trouble. But after he took in the 7-ray spirit grass earlier today, everything changed. Now he was way stronger. Taking down 10 fat pigs at once wouldn't even be a challenge. He snapped back to reality and gave his fingers a quick pinch. Out of nowhere, there was a sharp snap, and then pain just hit him hard, way deeper than he expected. 4 young thugs charged straight at. Handling these guys was light work for him. If stuff like this threw him off, he figured he'd be better off fixing phones on the corner instead of sticking with cultivation. Once he took care of everyone, he got ready to bounce and head back home. Moved up fast, wanting to show how thankful she was. Reached into his pockets, ready to hand her a few coins. Kept shaking her head, but her hands were doing the opposite. Let her know she could always hit him up if she needed something. Finally decided to trust him and walked away. Back at her place, she decided it was finally time to make a major move. Back in heaven, she grabbed a divine brush before heading down. But now that she was out of power, holding on to it didn't really matter anymore. If that brush could actually help out, she figured there was no reason not to hand it over to him. Back in the day, after and through down, the human emperor didn't head home at all that night. He only rolled back in when the sun was already up, like he'd been out the whole time. Ning spent the whole night outside, unable to sleep because she was stressed about. When he finally showed up in the morning, relief just washed over her. She rushed over, wanting to know where he'd disappeared to all night. Already had his story planned out. He'd pushed himself to run 10 kilometers the night before, ended up totally wiped out, and just crashed on the side of the road. Ningling thought he was already pretty skinny, so he didn't see the point in pushing himself too hard with workouts. Just brushed it off with a quick smile. His mom heard them coming back and glanced over. She wasn't too happy that he didn't make it home last night. Ning dragged inside, not even noticing the weird vibe hanging in the air. His mom looked down for a second, and there was this sharp look in her eyes that instantly made Yin tense up. He was just about to own up when something happened. His mom stopped sending him money for real. She just wanted him to at least let his sister know if he wasn't coming back, so she wouldn't be stressing out. Said yes out loud, but inside he was kind of annoyed. His mom just sat there super chill, not even asking what he'd been up to. It was weird. He thought for sure she'd be at least a little curious. About 15 minutes later, Ning showed up at his door with some fresh clothes for him. She noticed right away that he looked way skinnier than before, and it totally caught her off guard. Just shrugged, thinking if he ever put in this much work and didn't see any gains, he'd probably just give up and do something wild like smash his head into a block of tofu. Ningling spotted the box that had brought home the day before. She wanted to know if she could check out what's inside. Just grinned. To him it was no big deal, she could check out anything she wanted. What was his was basically hers anyway. She lit up right away, a big smile showing she was seriously happy. She popped the box open, just realized how good-looking Ningling actually was. If she threw on some cultivation world clothes, she'd totally look like a fairy straight out of an adventure story. Out of nowhere, the jade box started pulling all the spiritual energy straight out of her. Yin just froze for a second, then told her to leave her hand on the box. He got hyped when he realized the jade box could actually pull in her spiritual energy. That meant she might just be built to hold primal Kai, which was kind of wild to think about. The jade box just kept pulling energy out of Ning like it couldn't get enough, and it didn't look like it was gonna stop anytime soon. Ningling had no clue what was up to, so she just did what her brother told her and kept her hand on the box. She realized after more than 2 hours had gone by, her hand hadn't moved at all. It started to get kinda awkward just sitting there like that. Right when she was pulling her hand back, held her in place, noticed that the thing needed to soak up more spirit energy, and whenever she got closer, it started pulling it in way harder. Earlier, he was stressing that the power in the 7-star grass might just leak out and disappear. With the jade box, he could just save up the energy and use it whenever he wanted. This thing was basically a spirit-gathering talisman you could use over and over. It was honestly kind of op. With Ningling right there with him, he could just keep giving the box energy non-stop. Ningling looked at him totally lost. Watching that hype made her smile too. She figured if her brother ever needed anything, she'd be there, no questions asked. Honestly, this mom didn't even care, like, nothing could mess with her chill. Meanwhile, was already trying to figure out how he was going to explain where all his new cash came from. He mentioned he'd been at the clinic earlier, kind of expecting his mom to ask how he suddenly knew anything about medicine. She just kept it cool and told him to hit up the clinic, while she and Ling Yu were about to head out and shop for some clothes. Just stopped in his tracks. He couldn't figure out why she didn't say a word or ask what was going on. The next part hit even harder. The message basically said his clothes would do for now, but this person seemed way more interested in Ling. His mom just dropped that info like it was nothing, totally chill about it. She already had plans to buy him clothes he wouldn't even wear for another 2 months. Usually kept it together, but this time he totally froze. Somehow his mom already knew exactly what his body was gonna look like in a couple months. That was just straight up creepy. The mom and her daughter went over to Plaza to shop together, just hanging out like close sisters. Meanwhile, stayed back at the clinic to keep an eye on things. Back at the clinic, he couldn't stop thinking about how wild it was to get treated by Doctor, the legendary immortal. Not everyone gets that shot, so he wondered who'd end up being the lucky guy. Hours dragged by, but nobody showed up. Not even one patient came through the door. Just sat there totally spaced out, not wanting to make eye contact with anyone. He got bored just sitting around, so he started looking for something to keep himself busy. He hadn't messed with hidden weapons in forever, but today just felt right to get back into it. He barely moved, just snapped his wrist, and didn't even bother opening his eyes. The golden needle flew out and nailed the wall right where it could do the most damage. Hitting body refinement level 3 just changed everything for him. Now he could stick a needle straight into the wall like it was nothing. Out of nowhere, he noticed something wasn't right. His earth center point, forehead point, and the 7-eye point on his stomach suddenly started shifting by themselves. His spirit energy moved through every meridian in his body, wrapping around them like he was getting powered up from the inside. Had no clue what was going on, but he knew this chance didn't come around often. He just shut his eyes and started focusing, getting into his zone right on the spot. In just 15 minutes, with spiritual energy all around him, he leveled up from body refinement stage 3 to 4. He was ready to go for the next level, but out of nowhere, the celestial energy just vanished.
Lately, I've had a strong addiction to watching manhwa and manga recap videos. Every single day, I find myself binging one after another, losing hours and days doing absolutely nothing productive. And honestly, it's getting out of hand. So, maybe we can make these viral videos too. I mean, look at the views, the growth, the community these creators are building. It looks simple, right? But that's a trap. You go down this endless rabbit hole, spending money, losing sleep, hiring editors and writers from Fiverr and Upwork, and still feel like you've been robbed. Because don't forget how emotional the YouTube algorithm can be with making videos go viral. It's unpredictable, especially especially when the market's saturated, competition's relentless, and somehow other creators are dropping 10-hour videos daily while you're stuck trying to finish one. That's when I realized something had to change. So, I built the solution, the Web2 Narrative Suite, a complete one-click system that handles everything from cropping, script narration, text-to-speech, image processing, and full video generation in one smooth process. Save money, reduce hours of work, and have a tool that only gives you straight results. Click on the link down below and experience it for yourself. And if you want even more tools to supercharge your YouTube recap journey, visit my Ko-Fi and Patreon pages where I drop weekly new tools designed to keep you ahead as AI continues to steal our jobs. So tap in now before you get left behind.